Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about different books that deal with mental health. That's something I think is really important to be talked about, not only in books but in society today, because it affects a lot of people and I feel like we've been silent about it too long. So I have a collection of books here that talk about different aspects of mental health that I thought I'd share with you. Let's get started. So the first book I have is Paperweight by Meg Haston. This deals with a 17-year-old, her name is Stevie, and she has been diagnosed with EDNOS, which is eating disorder not otherwise specified. That's not what it was called when this book was written, but that's how it is identified today. And it's about her fight in rehab and why she does what she does and how she can battle to overcome it. The next book I have is Pretend We Are Lovely by Noley, Reid. This follows a family called the Sobel family in 1982. This story is dark and it's funny and it deals with family secrets and losses and how we can overcome those. So the next book I have is Your Voice Is All I Hear by Leah Schier, and it deals with a girl named April and her boyfriend Jonah. April will do anything for Jonah, but she can't save him when he starts to be overtaken by his depression from his dark and traumatic past. So this kind of deals with how April is there for Jonah, but also how she risks everything to be there for him. The next book I have is 10 Things I Can See From Here by Carrie Mack. This follows the story of a girl named Mauve and her severe anxiety and how that's triggered when she is moved to Vancouver to live with her dad and her pregnant stepmom, and kind of how she fights to overcome it. I also suffer with severe anxiety, and so I just really relate to this book, and again, I think it's something that's important for us to be openly talking about. The next book I have is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. This follows 16-year-old Aza, that's her name, in her fight with her OCD. From what I understand, John Green also suffers from OCD, so this is an Own Voices book, and I think it's amazing that John Green started this conversation, and I hope that it continues with YA literature, as our main characters should not be any more perfect than us humans. So the next book I have here is Every Last Word, and it is by Tamara Ireland Stone. This follows the story of a girl named Samantha who struggles with purely obsessional OCD, but she doesn't let her friend group know because she's afraid of losing them, and she wants to make sure she stays with the most popular group in school despite these constant worries that she can't turn off. Then she meets Caroline, and the two of them immediately hit it off, and that's the first person Samantha has ever been able to be open with. And Caroline invites her to join her group of friends at a place called Poet's Corner, and Samantha's life has changed forever. I think this book is important because it kind of talks about how Sam starts to feel normal until all of that is challenged again, and that's kind of how mental health works. You find something and you start to feel normal and kind of blend in, and then all of a sudden it strikes up again and you're left questioning everything. And I think it's important to talk about how these mental illnesses can't be cured, and there will be flare-ups and there will be things that try to knock you down, but it's important that you stand back up. And I haven't read this book yet, but I think that is the message that the author is kind of trying to send, or maybe I'm just speaking out my ass, who knows. So the next book I have is Zoe Letting Go, and this follows a girl named Zoe in her time in an eating disorder rehab, except she can't really remember how she got there and doesn't exactly know why she is there, and it takes a lot. She has to open up her past and relive those memories in order to set the future straight. Again, I think that this book is important because it talks about how the past can affect your future mental health wise, and how we need to learn and grow with those experiences. The next book I have is Breathing Underwater, and it's by Alex Flinn, and this follows the story of a 16-year-old named Nick Andreas who has to attend court-ordered anger management classes after an incident with his girlfriend Caitlin. Nick doesn't understand what he's been doing wrong, as he has been mistreated his entire life by an abusive father, and so through this you are in the point of view of an abuser and kind of how they come to terms with that and how they can reconcile it. And I just thought that was a really important take to have in a story, and a very interesting one. This next book is Cry Until You Bleed by Madeline States, and it follows the story of a girl named Anna Shaw. Anna Shaw suffered a traumatic incident when she was 13, and since then she has been in and out of different mental hospitals as people try to piece her back together. However, Anna doesn't understand why she needs to be pieced back together or why she needs to remain here on this earth. This follows the story of someone who has been beaten down, taken advantage of, and has to learn how to stand back up. And I just think this message is so important. And I know I say that for every book, but I just really think that it needs to be talked about. The next 2 books I have are part of a series, and that is Follow Me Back and Tell Me No Lies, both by A.V. Geiger. Follow Me Back follows the story of Tessa, who suffers from agoraphobia and severe anxiety. And it follows the story of Eric, who is a pop star that suffers from paranoia. And so this book talks about how their 2 paths intertwine and how they kind of manage to help each other. And this book picks up right where Follow Me Back left off, as Tessa is forced to confront the decisions that she's made and how she can move forward. The next book I have is Love and Other Carnivorous Plants by Florence Gonsalves. And this follows the story of a girl named Danny and a girl named Sarah. The 2 girls are in love, and they are basically planning on having their happily ever after together. However, Danny leaves Sarah behind to go to an Ivy League school and is too terrified to tell her that instead of a pre-med program, she's actually in an eating disorder facility. There, Danny meets another girl who she falls head over heels with, while still trying to confront the eating disorder that she deals with. Obviously, you know that I think eating disorders are very important to talk about in today's society, especially with societal standards today of beauty and how so many young boys and girls look up to that, and they suffer because of it. The next book I have is Fans of the Impossible Life by Scelsa. And this deals with 3 people, Mira, Jeremy, and Sebi, who each are in an individual situation that have an impact on mental health and kind of how their 3 lives intertwine and the string of lies that they put together to keep one another safe. This book deals with 3 individuals and kind of how their stories are unrelated in one way but relate in another, and I just really love that. The next book I have is Adultolescence by Gabbie Hanna. This book talks about so many important things, but in poetry form. So we get to see Gabbie's anxiety and her problems with eating and kind of the way her mind works. And I just found it to be so touching, and it hit me straight in the heart, and I think more people should read it. The next book I have is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. And it follows the story of Eliza, who is shy and awkward and doesn't really participate in actual life because online she has a completely different life where she is very popular and very well known. And so it kind of follows the story of why Eliza chooses to exist in her online life and the pressures that she faces in her real life. Next I have What I Lost by Alexandra Ballard. This follows the story of 16-year-old Elizabeth, who is in an eating disorder rehab facility, and she doesn't believe she belongs there. She is ready to endure this rehab and then get out immediately. And it kind of follows like her change of mind and what leads her to where. And I just kind of like seeing the inner workings of that and how it all wraps up in the end. And the last book I have, which I don't have here with me right now, it's across the house and I'm not gonna go get it. It is called The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. Again, it is another poetry collection that talks about sexual assault, abusive parents, anxiety, depression, kind of just talks about everything all wrapped up very nicely in a poetry collection. These are all Amanda's stories. These are all it's her own voice. And I just did not expect to cry as much as I did and relate to the stories as much as I did. So I definitely think that's an important read for everyone as well. So that's it for the books I own that deal with mental health. I do own several more, but I kind of just condensed main ones into this video. However, if you'd like to see another video like this, make sure to let me know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, I guess, And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Why the family is the way they is. Who is... Anna has been in and out of different... I feel like I can't breathe. The next book I have, who is in a reading disorder,